We are currently connected to R1's console 0 port, and it's telling us to press return to get started. What I want to identify to you right now is that we are pretty much utilizing factory default settings right now. We've only changed the host name up to this point in time. So I'm going to type in enable right now, and I'm going to type in the command show IP interface brief. And I want you to pay very close attention to these interfaces. By default, none of them have an IP address assigned to them. Look at the status. They are administratively down. Look at the protocol. They are down. So by default, all of our router interfaces are disabled. That's what this means. Administratively down means that they are disabled. What command disables those particular interfaces? Well, let's look at the running config. For example, show run interface gigabit Ethernet 0/0. So I want to look at just the output of gigabit Ethernet 0/0 and focus on this keyword here of shutdown. This keyword of shutdown is what disables our router interfaces. And that is the command that's there by default. So our interfaces are shut down by default right out of the box. Therefore, no traffic will flow in or out of these interfaces until you enable them. So let me show you how to enable a router interface. We'll go in the global configuration mode. Interface gigabit Ethernet 0/0 will move us into interface configuration mode for that specific interface. And we're going to use the no shutdown command. So all I'm doing is negating this command right here. I'm telling the device, no more shutdown. No shutdown. And when I execute that command, we'll see some syslog messages appear telling me that the interface is moving from our administratively down state to being down, then to being up. So when it's all said and done, we should eventually reach the up state of that output. So let's exit out or go back to privilege exec mode by typing in end. And I'll type in show IP interface brief again. And we'll see now that gigabit Ethernet 0/0 is now listed as being up. So if we want to have traffic flowing in and out of our interfaces, we need them to be up. And in order to get them up, we're going to need physical connectivity at layer 1. We'll need communication at layer 2 of the OSI model. And then we also have to make sure they're not disabled. So in order to make sure they're not disabled, we have to make sure that the no shutdown command has been executed. Let's look at the output of the running config again. Show run interface gigabit Ethernet 0/0. What I want you to pay very close attention to here is the difference between, for example, interface gig 00 and interface gigabit Ethernet 0/1. The big difference between the two here is that gig 01 says shutdown. So the default value is for the interfaces to be shut down, and that value will appear right here. But when the interface is enabled, like we have done to gigabit 0/0, is there anything in the output? No, there's not. So when the interface is enabled, the output doesn't show anything in relation to shutdown or no shutdown. If the interface is shut down, though, then the command appears right there in the output. Something to take note of, because when you're troubleshooting an interface, sometimes the reason why you don't have connectivity is because you forgot to issue the no shutdown command and enable it. So don't forget that. I've done it before. Colleagues have done it as well. Learn from our mistakes. Interface has to be enabled with the no shutdown command by default.